is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading, a reading from the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 18, verses 18 to 20. The people of Judah and the citizens of Jerusalem said, "Come, let us contrive a plot against Jeremiah. It will not mean the loss of instruction from the priest, nor a counsel from the wise, nor of messages from the prophets. And so let us destroy him by his own tongue. Let us carefully note his every word. Heed me, O Lord, and listen to what my adversaries say. Must good be repaid with evil, that they should dig a pit to take my life? Remember that I stood before you to speak in their behalf, to turn away your wrath from them." The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 20, verses 17 to 28. As Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside by themselves and said to them on the way, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and hand him over to the Gentiles, to be mocked and scourged and crucified, and he will be raised on the third day." Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee approached Jesus with her sons, and did him homage, wishing to ask him for something. He said to her, "What do you wish?" She answered him, "Command that these 2 sons of mine sit, one on your right and the other at your left, in your kingdom." Jesus said in reply, "You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the chalice that I am going to drink?" They said to him, "We can." He replied, "My chalice you will indeed drink, but to sit at my right and at my left, this is not mine to give, but is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard this, they became indignant at the 2 brothers. But Jesus summoned them and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and the great ones make their authority over them felt. But it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you shall be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you shall be your slave. Just so the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many." This is the gospel of the Lord.
My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, in today's gospel reading, we'll listen that Jesus first of all speaks about his passion, death and resurrection, that he will be killed by the authorities. So in other words, the leader will be no more the leader. He will die. So automatically, his disciples would argue who the leader is, the next one. In this gospel passage, Matthew tones it down and says, the mother of the Zebedee's sons, she asks the places of right and left in heaven. And the whole conversation goes, and Jesus tells his disciples that it is not for him to give, but for the Father. But they will drink the cup from which he will drink. And for that, the 10 disciples get angry and indignant. And then Jesus says, calm yourself. The leader of you must be the servant of all of you. Dear friends, as leaders, as Christians, we are called to be example to others. We are called to preach the love of Christ to others. Or in other words, Christ to others. So, who is Christ? Who was Jesus? He was behaving like a servant to all. He loved all. He even wiped the feet of his disciples and told, "You do so if you are my disciples. From the love that you show others, they will know you are my disciples." So Jesus tells them, the first among you, the leader, must be the last, the servant. As Christian, as a priest, as a nun, as a religious, or even as baptized Christians, we are given a special task, a mission to fulfill. How faithful are we to our mission? Are we being servant? Are we following Christ the servant? Or are we thinking as we are superior to others? God chose to be humble and became a man in this world and died on a cross. And we, the followers of Christ, we say Christians, then we ought to follow his footsteps by serving others. Service has also a part to sacrifice. Without sacrifice, the service will not be fulfilled. So we have to sacrifice ourselves for others, for God. This season, Lent season, we are called to do many sacrifices. How can I sacrifice my life, my time, my energy to others? Am I doing that? If not, let us start this Lent season to sacrifice something from us so that we may serve faithfully our neighbor and our God. Amen.